There are less houses coming on the market, but more sales compared to the same time last year.
Matt, welcome back. Thanks for joining me again. So March 2025, how is the property market going in relation to sales at the moment?
Really well, yeah. Thanks for having me, Tom, back. And since I last saw you, we have seen a real increase in activity, particularly in regards to sales. February itself was a very successful month with lots of buyer inquiries, as well as obviously those inquiries filtering through to sales being agreed.
Great. We're also seeing that chance of selling improving, I think, across the board, aren't we?
Yes.
Last year we talked about 50-50 chance of selling, with, if you look at all agents being included, it now seems to be about 2/3 are selling that come to the market. For ourselves, we're up to about 75% of the properties that come on, slightly over, are selling with us. So we're getting back to that normality of, if you put your property on the market, you're a lot more likely to actually achieve a sale. Yeah,
and obviously we're there to guide that, but ultimately the market will always help in those scenarios. You know, you've got a better market, it helps to successfully tying up those deals. Interestingly as well, sort of when you look at February isolated, the February we've just had in 2025, we always like to compare where we were this time last year. So we've looked at those numbers, and overall what we're looking at is there are less houses coming on the market, but more sales compared to the same time last year. Now, if that happens on a consistent basis, that will actually increase house prices as well. You know, 1 month worth of that happening isn't going to be enough, but if that happens after 2 or 3 or 4 months, you will see house prices increase in the area as well. So that's really positive to see, and long may it continue from my point of view.
Seasonally, we do typically see the number of listings increase, don't we? So why do you think we're not seeing those as many properties coming on as last year?
If I'm being totally honest, there's no real obvious answer for that. You'd like to think that actually people seeing more sales happening, that's the encouraging factor that they'll need to actually come and inquire about getting their house on the market and everything else like that. Are we a little bit too early still? You know, with the weather change and everything, that, you know, it might be that we have a very different conversation in a month's time in regards to the listings. But yeah, typically we'd be expecting listings to really increase and the sales to follow. It didn't happen this time around.
So it's positive news, if you like, for sellers, because there's almost less competition. However, there's still quite a wide range of properties out there, aren't there? It's not like we're in a situation where people are going to struggle to find something.
No. Like, we're not back to perhaps 2021, 2022, where you were really struggling to find that. There's still a good amount of choice. I think if you look at the available stock level, it's similar to what it was sort of the end of last year, early part of this year. It sort of stays safe. So we're listing the same amount as we're selling, in a sense. We're not putting on more houses than what we're selling. So, and like I said, that scenario, you plug and play that in, it could have house prices increase. So we're positive, but again, that's why you call us out, and people have conversations with our various listers, and we can provide that information to them and plug and play that into their own property. You know, the figures we look overall from all price brackets, but it's different information if you're a 3-bed semi or if you're a whopping great big 4-bedroom detached house, because you're in different price brackets with different strategies that are needed.
So on that, are we seeing any particular price ranges or property types that are selling better than others?
There is still more demand at the lower end of the market. So typically for our area, you'd still sort of class that as sort of under 350,000, depending exactly where you are in the Cambridgeshire area that we cover. That is still where there is perhaps the heightened demand still, and actually probably is that little bit less stock availability. You still got a bit more choice if you're looking up at that sort of £400,000 and above in our area. It's a really interesting time. I sit here positively with a positive outlook. We always do in the new year, so you might recall our sort of January conversation. We were hopeful for that positivity. We've experienced that already, and if that continues, it will be a good year.
Great. So let's talk about rentals. We've seen about an average of 7% increase in rental values over the last year.
Sounds about right.
There's obviously a limited supply, and that's driving up these prices. Is that supply becoming more limited because landlords are leaving? We've got the rent reform bill that's due to be implemented, still waiting exactly to hear on what that will mean for people.
Yeah.
Are landlords leaving because of that?
No, from what we're experiencing, they're not. We are certainly seeing landlords actually coming from managing properties themselves, actually inquiring and coming to talk to us about us managing those rentals. Yes, the renters reform bill, like I said, we're still waiting for the final details to be signed off, but there is a lot of indicators that there are things you're going to have to be conscious of, and legislation you're going to have, you're going to have to be compliant. I think is probably the best way, but more so than ever. Landlords that look after their own properties, don't get me wrong, they're not compliant, but with all these changes, they're fearful of missing something, or not having the right paperwork in place, and that doesn't make them bad landlords, but that's why they're then coming to us, because they know that they're going to be completely covered that way. Their rental properties are going to be managed and taken care of, and that I suspect that's why the majority of our landlords now use our services. It's not for the maintenance side of things, albeit that is obviously a fantastic thing to be taken care of for you. It's to be compliant. That's what we're experiencing, certainly.
Okay, great. And so if anyone is looking at selling, or they have a rental property that perhaps they're managing themselves, and they want to take away that headache of the compliance side of things, what do they need to do?
Just contact their local Ellis Winters branch. All the members of the team will be able to help, and book an appointment where the property value on the sales side of things will come out and have a chat with them about how to sell their property. If it's about rental and the rental service we provide, again, that office will put them in touch with the right people to provide guidance and advice on how to proceed forward. But contact Ellis Winters and their local branch.
Great, thanks Matt.
You're very welcome, thanks for having me.